I'm Jackie Thurn. Welcome to the third week of Nickel City Scene. Anyone who thinks Buffalo doesn't have a nightlife hasn't been downtown lately. Clubs like Nietzsche's and the Continental are doing very well with local artists. Network is quickly becoming one of Buffalo's best alternative nightclubs. New places like the Gargoyle and the Showplace Theater offer bands even more opportunities to play. There's so much happening in our region, and we are very excited to bring it to you. Tonight on Nickel City Scene, you'll meet Kama Sutra, a great alternative band from Niagara Falls. We've got a very cool new video from the Cheshire Cat, and the Foxes Shred and Ragan turn a battle of the bands into King of the Hill. Kama Sutra is one band you can definitely call alternative. Their avant-garde style sells out shows from Cleveland to Toronto. Here's a look at one very unique local band.
So now we just released our newest album, Kundalini. Finally, we're getting closer and closer to having an album how we wanted it to be. And I think we kind of approached it from we're thinking, okay, if you go to the record store and you buy an album by a band that you never heard before, what would you hope for? I mean, what do you want an album to be like?
I feel On the Cusp was more of our vehicle to prove ourselves to ourselves and to the listeners, and just put out something that would give us an opportunity to get out and play other cities. It was really on the cusp of what we were able to accomplish as we all felt, and that's why it kind of got its name, On the Cusp.
On the Cusp, we made a couple thousand of those, and decide that, being realistic and listening to our music and our attitudes towards everything else, we weren't really going to be signed or anything like that. We weren't like a grunge band or whatever. We had our own thing happen. Having your own thing has never been real good for business. So
with Kundalini, the new CD, it's a more mature recording. You can tell that we all know each other better. It's a bit fuller. Tony would lay down a guitar track, or Steve would just lay down a drum track, and then Tony would go in and put his guitar over it, or Steve would put his drum over it, and then they would call me and say, okay, come in and sing off the cuff. Just come in and sing, and whatever you feel, not listening to it beforehand or anything, just kind of come in, listen a couple times, and do whatever you feel. It wasn't rehearsed. It was really right from your soul. So
we had a really great cello player come in, Keely Mackey, and everyone played a lot of different instruments. I did a lot of percussion tracks, and Jason played the violin.
All in all, Kundalini is just a bit more adventurous than the first one.
We went about each song differently. As far as we didn't think of it as an album, like, okay, we'll book studio time here and make an album there. It wasn't like that. It was like, well, okay, we've got this song, we've been playing it. How do we want it to come across? And from there, what kind of studio do you need? Do you have to have automated mix down for that song? Do you need 24 tracks for that song? We did go down to Vermont and do a couple songs with Glenn Robinson, who's produced Queensryche, and he's worked on Rush albums and Headstones and Tea Party. To me, there's no comparison. I can't listen to the first album very easily. When I listen to the first album, I think of it in terms of a lot of regret. This one, I actually can listen to. I just can go home and I'm still kind of psyched about the stuff that I hear. We have a record label helping us out. This is going to be doing some stuff for us and open us up into some new markets, and we're going to stay as independent as we'd like, I guess, for now.
You can buy Kama Sutra's new CD, Kundalini, at record stores across Western New York. When we come back, you'll meet one Cheshire Cat that's not from Alice in Wonderland. Next on Nickel City Scene.
A little smile to reconcile.
The Cheshire Cat has been together for over 6 years. They've won several local awards, including Buffalo's Best Unsigned Band. Never is their latest song and their first music video. Let's check it out.
This was a wild scene. It was a Sunday afternoon. We're in the Buffalo train terminal, the central station, whatever the hell you want to call it. And we were shooting the one scene. You'll see it in the video where Ryan is like behind this sort of window. It's very shrouded. He's the drummer, and he's singing the refrain to the song. And there's all this commotion and stuff. We're in this big abandoned train terminal, and we turn around, and here's like 20 members of this gang walking into us. We're right in the middle of production. There's like, I don't know, it's like 7 of us. 7 long-haired kids in the wrong neighborhood. We thought that was going to be the end of our lives. And I thought we were dead. They were walking right up to our equipment. I had my keyboard, and Ryan had his drums all set up, and we were nervous as hell. And they just asked us if we were shooting a video for Star Search. We said no, and so they went about their business, and I think went up into the tower. But that was very scary. I thought I had a heart attack right there.
Some ground.
Let me put my foot down now and get this straight.
Let me tell you where I'm gonna change. Never, 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 never. You can bend me, but you can't.
Oh down now and get things straight.
Let me tell you when I'm gonna change. Never, never. You can bend me, but you cannot break me.
We know Buffalo musicians can sing and play guitar, but can they ski? We'll check in with the Fox's Shred and Ragan next. But first, here's a look at this week's music calendar.
Shred and Ragan, the morning guys from 103.3 The Fox. Welcome to another edition of the Fox Overmodulated. Today from Kissing Bridge for a special edition of the Fox Wide World of Sports.
Oh my, it's nitty. It's going to be a bunch of local bands battling it out on the hills for big cash prizes.
They're going to be competing for a trip to Hawaii, $10,000 cash, and a recording contract.
Plus the year's supply of turtle wax.
Let's go and meet our competitors now.
First up, Joe, bassist for Ansley Court.
Then it's Peter, guitar player from The Children.
Next up, keyboardist for the Trolls, Matt.
Matt going for the extra cheap plug with the shirt today.
How cheesy.
We have Winnie from Ladyfire, vocalist and guitar player.
And the world-famous Max Volume, co-host of Buffalo Licks on the Fox.
We also had Jody, the lead singer from Jive Injection, but he heard about the recording contract. He wanted to come out and race, and, well, this is what happened.
Ugly.
All right, it's time for the competition. Our first competitor.
That's right, Joe. He's the bass player from Ansley Court. Let's go up to the hill right now as we get ready for the very first in our competition here. The bands are competing for lots of cash and prizes. Joe, by the way, pretty interesting for Joe, right? His favorite toy as a child?
What was it?
Well, he used to love to hang out in the refrigerator box. It was something that they kept in the backyard.
It requires no batteries.
No, and you know what? It used to keep Joe occupied for hours at a stretch. It was an amazing little toy that he kept.
Here comes Joe across the finish line with fine form and grace.
All right, Jim McKay, let's meet our next competitor now. This is Peter. He's the guitarist from The Children.
Now, we asked Peter what his favorite dog food might be.
Now, this is an interesting question here because it bears a lot on the type of protein that he gets and he ingests, and it helps his skiing out here today, Jim. And what we're looking at is Mighty Dog, his favorite Mighty Dog.
I believe that's because Lauren Green was the spokesperson. He's a Bonanza fan. Now, Peter's lost his hat in gate number 2, coming down with fine form. His hair could cause a bit of a drag and cause him a little bit in the time.
You think so? It had to do maybe with the gristle chunks. Our next competitor is none other than Matt. He is the lead organist for the Trolls. Shameless plug today for Matt, by the way. He's got his Trolls t-shirt on. What's that all about?
Well, you know, Matt recently won a lottery. He is next in line to date Courtney Love, so he's really pleased about this. Let's hope he doesn't trip up on the hat there left by Peter.
For that matter, let's hope he doesn't end up like several of other beaux of Courtney Love.
Matt, look, with fine form coming through the turns, a little wide.
He hasn't wiped out yet. I'm very disappointed in Matt. He usually takes a spill with limbs flying.
Next up, we have Winnie from Ladyfire. Of course, she plays guitar, also shares the vocal duties, and here she comes down the hill now.
Shred, why don't you comment a little bit here on what Winnie is wearing today?
Winnie is wearing a fine Gore-Tex leather parka, the latest in the ski industry.
That's right. Not only that, but Winnie is also a collector of illegal weapons. She is hoping to acquire the Chinese Death Star very soon.
I believe she said she's going to toss it at us as she comes across the finish line. Fine form there. Next up, we have Max Volume, co-producer of Buffalo Licks.
Max, a very good friend of ours, however, a horrible skier on his part.
Max has been out about 4 times, and as you can tell by the big shadow that he sets off, that he's not going to set this course on fire.
Not only that, but the radio station has cut all health care, Shred. I don't know if you've heard about that recently, but we have absolutely no health care in this competition.
You got to admire Max's style, though. He's already made 5 turns, and he hasn't even hit the first gate yet.
Oh, and he goes down! Well, the poor man is down.
And a minor yard sale, the loss of only 1 ski. The judges give him about a 4.6 on that fall.
Notice how his right leg, though, continues to make the fall.
We'll go and tally up the scores here and find out who our winner is in just a second. All right, we're back. We've got the scores all tallied up by Judge Lance Ito.
That's right. Now, the winner will get $10,000 in cash, the year's supply of turtle wax, the trip for two, and the recording contract. And the winner is...
Hi, guys.
Rachel. Man, Rachel, hey, come here, man.
Teach me how to ski. I can use it.
We'll see more adventures from Shred and Ragan next week, if we can find them. Next, Mark gives us a scoop on what's new around town, plus a video from Howard Stern's favorite band. Do you know who it is? If not, stay tuned. Nickel City Scene is brought to you by Pepsi, by Zappers World of Electronic Games, by Santangelo's, by FWS, and by Mighty Taco.
Welcome to Nickel City Scene's Music News Buzz segment. This week's CD pick of the week is Planet Nine's Norma's Magic Bottles on Planet Nine Productions Records. Norma's Magic Bottles brings together the ethereal guitar stallions of Brian Stadden with the vocal and guitar enhancements of Kathy Moriarty into one classic recording. So check out Planet Nine's Norma's Magic Bottles. Secondly, the musicians' tidbits of the week include the crazy but talented jerkbait fiddle player is leaving for Washington, D.C. So if you're interested in filling his shoes, the band would love to hear from it, and contacts can be made to Franco Tedesco at 3B's Coffee House in Allentown. And finally, Greg Klein and Stone Church are currently in the studio recording their upcoming CD, so check that out in the months ahead. But the big news of the week, plans are now being made for Nickel City Scene's first underground music festival to happen at the spacious Showplace Theater on Grant Street. This will be happening in April of 1995, so watch Nickel City Scene for news on the upcoming show, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap for this show. Next week, you'll meet the award-winning Buffalo band, The Need. You'll see a very personal video from Buffalo's Marvelous Sauce. And we'll talk with one of Toronto's favorite reggae bands, The Satellites. Nickel City Scene is your show, and we need to hear from you. We're always looking for music videos and cool events to promote. If you're in a band and have a music video, send it in. Or if you know of a local band you'd like to see, let us know. The address is Nickel City Scene, care of the Media Center, 2001 Main Street, Buffalo, New York, 14208. We'll leave you with the Pinheads. This hard-rocking Buffalo band has a new CD coming out in the spring. Check out this video from their 1993 CD, The Good, the Bad, and the Pinheads. See you next week.